Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. It is Tuesday night, the 29th of December, and the markets had a big day today. We gapped, we ran, we had a really strong session all day until the last hour when some profit taking did set in, but it was a strong close. Some stocks we followed did well, some new ones popped up. Let's take a look at the ones we're featuring today in the charts of the day. And it's starting with Achillion, which I put out a swing on. And the reason is, after taking out this declining top line, look, this was a big winner for us last year, but then it went down for almost a year. And by October, it had finished this low. Ran up from the 6.5 range all the way up to about 10.5, and then consolidated, pulled back, tested the 50, created a new rising channel bottom, consolidated, and now it's been moving up. It's right up against resistance here. It looks like it wants to explode. I think the stock has a shot at taking out the 11.10 range. That's the near-term resistance, and we get through that level, I could see the stock being upwards of 12.75, something of that nature, give or take a quarter. Beyond that, we shall see, but I wouldn't be shocked to see 16, 17 again at some point. There are 8.75 days to cover. That could fuel the fire. We'll see what happens. Actinium, low price puppy that's been popping. You'll see the big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave decline, then a base for the last 4 or 5 months. Finally, the pop and pull back to hold at 50, a pop to resistance and a pull back to held support, and then a breakout. You can see the stock jumped another 30 cents or 10.6%. 2.9 million shares. It's pretty strong volume, and the OBV is moving up rather nicely. I can see the stock making a run at the 4.25, 4.5 range short term. Ears had a big pop today, running from 431 to 538, closed at 5 even, up 61 cents. That was nearly 14% up on $1.5 million. It looks to me like this has broken the declining top line. It may take a run at resistance up around that 6.5 range. EXEL coming on strong here. 3 days ago popped to the 50 and backed off for a couple of days, but held the trend channel that it broke and lateral support right there. Then you can see that this moved up. We have 2 strong sessions in a row. Today was up 4.4% on 2.6 million. There are 13.3 days to cover, and it feels like this is going to attack and take out the 580 range maybe tomorrow. If it does that, look for about 640 to the 680 range in that zone. I think we're going to test these multiple tops. 13.3 days to cover. Wow. Okay, FIVN with a pop, wedge, and a 5-way move. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now has it in overbought territory. But I still think on a long-term basis, looking at the overall chart pattern, this is new all-time highs. And when you're making highs in this kind of a market, where there's only a couple hundred stocks making new highs out of 12,000, it's a sign of relative strength to say the least. The OBV is moving up nicely, and it appears that could accelerate and get towards the $10 range short term. Well, FXCM has been a monster of late. In the last 2 weeks alone, it's gone from 5.25 to 20 and change. So it's quadrupled, and it may be extended here to say the least. And there is resistance up in that zone, but it took that out today. Next target, before I want to tell you to get out of this stock, if it follows through tomorrow and gets up in the 23 range, definitely exit this stock short term. LMAT up, top 20 pick and a top 20 pick for 2016. It continues to look great. The rising wedge is broken to the upside today with a pop of 108 or 6.5%. Volume isn't big, but it's a thinly traded stock. The OBV is looking great. I'm looking for it to move to 20 on this stock. LSCC popped yesterday, and today followed through nicely, getting all the way up to 707 where my target was, and sure enough, it backed off of there. The next target is 7.75, 8 zone. At that point, it may have been extended a bit, but it appears that this could be a takeover target. At least that's what we're hearing in circles. 3.5 days to cover. NBIX, one of my favorite bios, has been great all year. We put a swing on it down here in the high 30s. The stock ran up to 58.5 and backed off, but 1, 2, 3, 4 tests of this $50 range held. In the last couple sessions, it's moved up today, jumped 348 or 6.5%. Volume was a solid 684,000, good for that stock. 6.75 days to cover. Watch that level about 58.5. We get through that, we can see the stock move substantially, maybe even up towards the low 70s. And there's 6.75 days to cover. NVIDIA appears to be, from what I'm hearing, potential takeover. But the stock has moved and broken out of key resistance and accelerated. Take a look at the long-term chart. This is the highest level on NVIDIA since way back in 07, so it's an 8-year high. A 9-year high, excuse me. And in the 9 years, we haven't seen this kind of movement on it. After here's a pop and a wedge, and here's a pop and a flag, and today it popped out of the flag. Looking for 36, 6.5, down 39, 9.5, maybe 40. This one looks pretty damn good. 6 days to cover. Solid 5 million share traded today on an upswing. ORBC, I'm going to show you the weekly first. The long-term chart is a beauty. It's gone from 1.25 all the way up to the 9 range. The high here was 8.21, excuse me. And for a year now, it's been consolidating. But today and yesterday, it popped and it's broken out above the prior high in June. May very well test quickly the 8, 10, 20 range where support, where resistance is. The mid-channel target is about 8.99. The top of the channel, we could see 13 over the next few weeks. 20 days to cover in this one. Could be interesting. Rexy with a huge move in the last 3 sessions. Just wanted to show it to you. Took out lateral resistance, declining tops line, and even secondary resistance, and the 50-day all in 3 days. But it's moved from 3.5 to 6.32 and maybe extended. There is some gap resistance up here that I look for. Resistance tomorrow around 6.70. Beyond that, if it goes, we can see the stock in the 7.8 range, but I'd be careful with this one. 14 days to cover though. Could extend it, and the momentum is strong. TGI with a big day today, to say the least. I think on earnings it jumped 6.56 or 19% and broke the declining top line of 50-day moving average and closed there. So we may see some more upside tomorrow. My short-term target over the next several days to a week or so could be as high as 47. And VTL broke out of a coil today that's been developing for 3 weeks by popping 53 cents or 5%. Volume picked up a little bit, and you can see there's 8 days to cover. So this one, I'm looking for 12.5 short term. Secondary target could be mid-channel around 14. And lastly is VUZI, which has been doing great, particularly today when it popped on the biggest volume that I've seen since January back here, and coming up towards the double top in the 540-60 zone, excuse me, 740-60 zone. We get through that, we could see at least a run at 8, and then about 9.5 would be my next target. This one looks very good with 7 days to cover. And that's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening.